change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found. For you and I are safe and sound. And we just slow down. For you and I are safe and
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's look at the poll. I said, have you hit the like and do you plan to hike? 90% of you said, of course. Now, I want to know who is the 7% that says, no, you suck. Love it. Love the humility. Keeps me in my place. And waiting to see your great content. That's the attitude. And you know it's great every day. Not because of me, but because of you. Retro says it's a little chilly where she is. Ooh, I have a secret. Just don't tell her I told you. Okay? Don't tell her I told you. You guys promise not to tell Retro? She has a birthday coming up. Yep. We're going to have a members live. That's right. Just don't tell her. I'll break it to her gently. Oh, she came in. She said that's probably Pat K. So Pat K told you? Well, go figure. So what do you all think about this Nancy Guthrie thing? Woo! They're recalling the sheriff. They're going to have a special election because he wasn't hired. He was elected. I suggest Savannah gets a hold of Senator Mark Kelly there in Arizona because they're really good friends and say, yeah, I need that done sooner than later. And I know you can get it done. Or you know someone stateside that can get it done on the state side. I don't mean stateside as in America. She may already have. Just throwing it out there, if you know what I mean. Retro said, no, Pat K said, no, you suck. Oh, always great friends. Couldn't do it without you guys. And I mean, I would also put a little pressure on my friend as well as your mom's constituent to say, today would be a good day to say the FBI needs to totally take this over. Because one thing that the sheriff just will not discuss is the fact that she could be in Mexico. Not talking about Mexicans. I'm not talking about the border. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about the locale of what we're talking about. They're a hop, skip, and a jump from Mexico. She could be anywhere. The odds of her being alive, slim to none, my friends, slim to none. Slim to none. But I will say that everything that Savannah said to Hoda made more sense to me than everything that stupid sheriff has been peddling for the last, gosh, almost 2 months. 2 months, they can't find an 84-year-old woman. Just think about that. She's not that quick. She's not that fast. She probably eats dinner at 2 o'clock in the afternoon like yours truly. She's not going too far. So what is going on? Like, what is going on? Let's take a minute and tell everybody good morning and, ooh, it is Friday. Okay, waiting on our special guest. Oh, there she is, because she's got some tea for us. First, we're going to start talking about the sheriff and the recall and his great record that even with it on file in Arizona, he was still picked up in Tucson and elected as a sheriff. The person that was running against him brought all this up. People still voted for him. Why? I don't know. Probably didn't think too much about who the sheriff is. A lot of people that go to the polls are like, I don't want that governor. I don't want that president. I don't even know who these other people are. I don't care. Just check whatever you want. They're just kind of low IQ voters. They really are. They're uneducated voters is what they are. Well, without further ado, let's bring up our girl, Mama B, and get ready for the tea. Well, good morning, Mama B. I tell you what, your notes look like the Library of Congress.
I've got 2 notebooks. I've got 3 pieces of printed paper. I was going to town.
I'm telling you what, town's where it's at. Woo! Town is where it's at. So this better be good because Susan said she's thirsty. Let's start with GLR and the tip he received. I think now I know what name he's talking about, but we need to discuss this first. I don't want to just jump, head first into the pool.
Well, he said that he had a gun shop owner he said either 15 minutes or 15 miles away that contacted him. And he gave him a list of 7 names, and they all seemed Middle Eastern to me. He said he only had 6 on the screen. He said there was a 7th one that he forgot to put on on the screen.
Give me an example. I don't know what a Middle Eastern name sounds like.
I can't even think of them, but if you saw them, you would know.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
They were very obviously not, it wasn't like Jones or Hayes. You know what I mean? They were hard to pronounce. And he looked them up, and apparently one of the names under this last name, he said there was more than one name attached to each last name, but one of these people, he didn't say male or female either, worked in healthcare, and it could have been the person that Nancy fired who stayed in the guest house that was working for her.
Oh, wow.
And he said he wasn't giving the name up. He said, do your research just like I did, and you'll be able to find the name. You'll be able to piece it together, but do your research. And I believe him. I do too. He's got a lot of stuff going on. But, that would make a lot of sense. She did have somebody that was supposed to be almost like 24/7 care for her. And I could see someone being upset.
Yeah.
But Nancy also was said in the very beginning, and I only saw it a couple of times in newspaper articles, that she turned in some type of medical fraud. And then you hear about this person getting fired that was working for her. And then the FBI going to these gun stores with these Middle Eastern last names. And one of those last names just happens to work in healthcare. It's just, there's a lot. There's a lot to unravel there.
There is. And the elephant in the room with JLR is obviously his issues with Magnolia. So I just want to remind everybody, when we bring up JLR and his coverage and his research, it has nothing to do with him and his girlfriend. This is not us saying that we are so cool with what they have going on. No, not at all. But he's still very neck deep. I mean, up to the eyeballs in this.
Yeah.
And this week, with other things coming out, it's making more sense than all the shit that the sheriff has ever put out. So let's talk about the sheriff's recall, and let's talk about his record, which was duly noted. It was brought up in the campaign. All right, so here we go. Whew, long but distinguished. Here we go. I got to get closer to the computer. Insubordination, that's not anything that another agency would have an issue with. Okay. Consistent inefficiency. Again, that's not something they'll have a problem with. Consistent inefficiency. That's a normal write-up for the police. Now let's get to this. Woo! Now we get to it. Now I can't read some of this. Tardiness, they don't care about that. Dereliction of duty. That's a biggie. That means you don't take orders. Dereliction of duty in the military, which I understand I'm talking and oranges, would get you court-martialed. If you don't do what you're told, you got a big problem. That is what I'm really concerned about. Excessive force, that would be for internal affairs, and I see that it was assigned there because I see internal affairs, IA 1-96. And am I reading this right? Was this in 1981?
That could be the one that he was suspended for 15 days for, that the DA took to a grand jury and they came back with a no bill. They did not indict him for that, but it was for a robbery suspect that he ended up putting in the hospital with a head injury.
Another excessive force. All right. Failure to use department orders. That's another internal affairs. Civil suit against city auto accident. Oh, so he hit someone with his car. Wow, I'll tell you what, he's a real Magnum PI. He's a real Magnum PI. And all of this stuff was thrown in his face during the campaign. I'm going to assume that the voters didn't care because of the age of a lot of these records, you know?
But when he was hired for Pima County, he was hired as a CO, not a police officer.
Oh, that figures. That figures.
So when they went through these records, they probably figured he was going to stay a CO and he was not going to go any farther.
Well, he cleaned up his record. He cleaned up his record by bringing sandwich trays to prisoners and just being careful not to use his baton. Okay, you continue. I've got too many thoughts in my head. Okay, I'm loving this.
Prior to this all going on, he moved officers all around. He dismantled divisions and had everybody up in arms and moved them all around. He changed up all of the detectives in the homicide unit. And Sergeant Cross, I don't know if he worked homicide or not, but he had him on a desk job answering phones.
He moved him from homicide to answering the phone, and then he put him in the Sally port. This is like case we talked about yesterday, and I'm not saying those jobs aren't important, but we all know what a demotion looks like. Okay? We all know
And
what a demotion looks like.
the woman that he was running against for mayor, or for not for mayor, for crying out loud, for sheriff, he assigned her to home duty and gave her a curfew.
Hold on. Can you repeat that slowly for my brain?
He running against him to home duty, and he assigned her a curfew. And there's some sort of lawsuit going on, but they don't know if it has anything to do with that or if it's something else.
So he was her superior. They're running against each other. She's bringing up his horrible record, and suddenly she's a remote worker for the police.
Yep.
How can you do that? Hey, are you still in your pajamas? Yeah. We have a robbery at 5th and Vine. Can you put your uniform on? No, I work from home now. How does that make any sense?
It makes absolutely no sense. And it hindered her from being able to campaign.
Well, that's what the curfew was about. That's what class is all about, baby. That's called political power. I'll tell you what, someone bigger in that state needs to put a thumb on him.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? Because I'm digging this.
There was a questionnaire given to members of the department back in November to see what their confidence rating was with the sheriff. And at that point, 98% of them had no confidence in the sheriff. And then after Nancy went missing, they gave these deputies and investigators the same questionnaire, and 100% of them have no confidence in the sheriff.
So you went from hero to zero, literally 98%. I'm not big on polls. I'm just really not.
No, 98% of them had no confidence. Now it's 100%. So that 2% went up. That 98 went up.
Okay. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying in November we had 98% confidence in him, and now, okay, never mind. Forget me in this. And that's a very brave thing for deputies, investigators, officers, 911 dispatcher, paramedics, everyone that works for the sheriff to fill that out because they know who they are. Those questionnaires, those ballots are issued.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said at one point that we believe we know why he was here and have known since day one. So if you know why they were there, why don't you say why they were there? Because burglars don't take people, they take stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. And why call in homicide detectives on day 2? You call off search and rescue on day 2, and you call in homicide detectives. Now, the lead detective, remember, has never worked a homicide in his life. So there had to be some sort of evidence in that house that led them to believe that there was a homicide that took place. There had to be. You don't call in homicide for a few drops of blood on the front porch.
No, especially at an 84-year-old woman's house. Okay,
Right.
Also something I want to pick your brain about. I mean, I know my comments I've made about this. What do you think about them closing down the crime scene, making it a crime scene again? Then it's not a crime scene, then it's a crime scene. This went on for quite a while. And the same that are screaming, oh, you can't shut down a crime scene. I recognize some of these names. They were the people that were so upset in Idaho when those 4 kids, beautiful kids, were murdered in Mossville, Idaho, they were mad that the crime scene was left up for so long, even after Koberger was in jail.
Well, when I lived in the last place that we lived, our neighbor, 2 houses down, shot his girlfriend in the face. Took out her right eye. And they had a sheriff on each side of the house. And they came the next morning and they had their white suits on and they were searching all over. They gathered all the evidence and they released the house that night. And my husband went over and helped them, nail the door shut. But if they thought that this was a homicide case, why did they release the scene? If it was just a missing person case, I could say, okay, I guess, maybe. But a homicide case that you just called detectives in for, you're releasing it already? They haven't had time to go through the evidence.
You have no idea. You haven't had time to bring forensics in to comb every piece of the rug, go through, everything that's been touched, luminol, the whole 9 yards. It's almost like you thought he had a slam dunk.
And why did they not take that rug off of the front porch? There was blood all around it.
Mm-hmm.
And that blood, I'm going to tell you right now, that blood was not from a nosebleed. There's no way. It was from low. There was no blood spatter around where those blood drops were. None.
No. And then we get this other story about how the plant that the guy or girl, I don't know, I haven't seen the face, grabbed is
It's definitely a guy. Because on the right-hand side of the face mask, you can see beard hairs coming out of the side of the mask where the mouth is. If you zoom way in on it.
Oh, I'm just saying for conversation. They're saying that the plant that was grabbed, it's actually one of those bleeding yuccas. And that was what the dripping was. And I'm like, get the F out of here. You know the difference between sap and blood.
Did you see the picture? I think I sent it to you. There was a picture where I swear it says the word hi. There's an H and an I, and they're like diagonal from each other. There's no way that's a shoe print because of the way they're diagonal from each other. I swear to God it says the word hi. Like somebody's being funny, like, ha ha, I got you.
I did see that, and I want to know why it wasn't taken into evidence.
I don't know.
All right, let's see what the latest is on Sheriff No News.
Nearly 8 weeks after Nancy Guthrie went missing, the Arizona sheriff leading the search is coming under fire from some of his peers in law enforcement. The deputies union that represents the Pima County Sheriff's Department voted.
Okay. 2 words, police union. They are going to protect him.
But the union rep has no confidence in him and talks smack about him every chance he gets with Brian Enton.
That's what I'm talking about. So he better forget about that, And I don't know if she nicked her finger. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. She could have been pulled out of bed too fast. At her age. And but there's no other droplets. That's the question.
Yeah. Or is there a ton of blood in the house? I don't know.
They haven't told us, so I can't say there isn't.
In Chris Nanos this week. And according to the union, nearly half of the deputies under his charge want him to resign. Senior national correspondent Brian Inton has been following the Guthrie search from day one. Joins us live. So, Brian, what does this pressure on Nanos mean for the investigation?
Yeah, I mean, look, this no confidence vote is really interesting, Nicole. I mean, you said it. Actually, every single deputy in the union, which is 300 deputies, voted that they do not have confidence in the sheriff right now. There's issues that go back years, but, you know, the Nancy Guthrie investigation also comes into play.
The reason I think that the blood droplets come from her nose is because it has been discussed several times about all the blood thinners she's on. And so sometimes, like people that take blood thinners, I'm not going to say any particular medication because guess what? I'm not a doctor. It will cause you, I mean, easily to bleed. I mean, you nick your finger, it comes out like a sieve. You blow your nose, you might be battling nosebleed for an hour. You know, blood thinners, I know because I've been on them after I had that blood clot. And my nose would bleed and I would see blood droplets. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like, no pun intended, a crime scene. And that's what I'm wondering, especially without her having her maintenance medications, which that day wouldn't have mattered. But now, I mean, if she has to have those blood thinners and she has to have things for her heart, because she has very, very weakened heart muscles, hence why she has a pacemaker. The question is, what is the motive? And I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around the motive being Savannah. Savannah said this week that she believes the ransom notes are real. Okay, if the ransom notes are real, then why didn't you pay them?
Yeah. The theories, I'm not a tinfoil hat wearer, but this case has made me put one on and it has shifted so many times it's not even funny.
I know, girl. I'm gonna Instacart you some Reynolds wrap here in like 2 seconds. You're doing awesome.
This case has like driven me crazy.
Poppy said follow the money. Well, can't because no money's been paid. No money's been paid. No money has been paid. And I will never understand that. Here's your test payment. There's your test Bitcoin. SEC is going to be watching it. They're going to find out who gets it. None of that happened. So either they were told there is no way she's alive, don't spend any money. We know they've talked to the doctors and they're like, no. After 48 hours without this medication, and no. But I mean, no money was paid.
You would think that if they had the way Savannah sounded in her interview with Hoda, there were several ransom letters, but the two that they responded to, they think were real.
Well, they responded to, as in they put things on Instagram. Nothing was paid.
Yeah. And I don't understand why it was put on Instagram and not mainstream media.
Well, it was.
I mean, I know they thought mainstream media was going to pick it up, but
well,
why not?
I think they wanted to make it more personal. This is from me to you, you know, and then of course it was picked up everywhere else.
Yeah, that could be.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
There are allegations that mistakes were made, that he cleared the crime scene too soon, and also that he didn't call in the FBI soon enough. Look, he says he did not make any mistakes. He stands by all of the decisions that he's made. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie has now given her first interview.
Who could ever say I made no mistakes? Who could ever say, especially something this intricate? Who could ever say, get off my back, I made no mistakes? What are you talking about? She's still missing. No news. She's still missing. You can't say you didn't make any mistake. And what is the sheriff doing leading this investigation? Where is the lead investigator? He's not an investigator. He has absolutely no investigation to his amazing resume.
And, you know, they have, what is it, 4 detectives and a sergeant working with the FBI out of the FBI field office. And what I was seeing is that they have to report back to him every day, so he is abreast of what's going on. But he had no idea about the FBI going to the gun shops. He had no idea about them executing those search warrants. He found out about the ransom seekers from his wife. He didn't find out from the FBI, the FBI, nobody. He found out from his wife because she saw it on the news.
Well, that's a red flag for sure. That's a red flag for sure. I mean, your wife sees it on the news and she tells the sheriff. Did no one else in the department know? Okay.
I mean, and how do you not know that the FBI is going door to door in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood for a second, third, and fourth time, searching people's yards and campers and in boats and all these wacky things? You have no idea, but you're the lead in the investigation.
Well, and he's trying to tell them what to do, and that's what confuses me. When they say, check your campers, check under your boat tarps, check this, check that, you're looking for a little child, not an 84-year-old woman that needs help walking.
Yeah. Well,
And
he said that she could walk a half a football field, and then last night, was it last night? I don't know. Yeah, it was in Savannah's interview. She said that she could, some days she could walk to the mailbox and other days she couldn't. So which is it? She can walk a football field or she can't walk to the mailbox.
Mhm.
Makes no sense.
Interesting. I wonder who told him that, because her family says quite the opposite.
Yeah.
If you can walk half a football field, you can drive a damn car.
And was she driving a car?
Nope. She's been taking Ubers. They established that. She's been Ubering everywhere for a very long time. What's he going to say about that?
See, it made sense to me that she Ubered over to Annie and Tommaso's, because in the video where Savannah went back to Tucson, they had them at that Mexican restaurant and she was drinking a margarita. So I just assumed that maybe Annie had been drinking. She had a couple glasses of wine while she was making dinner, so she didn't feel comfortable driving to get her mother. So she had her Uber over, and then Tommaso brought her home after they played games or whatever.
Mhm.
It's not unheard of for a woman to have a glass of wine with dinner. So I just figured she couldn't drive her own car.
Oh,
I
no,
wasn't aware that she wasn't driving at all.
no, that part I understand. I mean, if you're planning
Yeah.
on going out and having a couple of drinks or a pitcher of or whatever, obviously, be safe and have a sober driver. But I'm saying she took a lot of Ubers. Are you telling me that she drinks that much?
I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think, especially to be on that kind of blood thinner. So she's got her drinks that much. I'm not saying that she does. Megan Els, what up, girl? She said, I think the whole thing sounds like BS from the beginning. Why did Savannah call Mark Kelly first? And I agree. Her retelling of events sounds like she's auditioning for a movie. There is rumors on page 6, New York Times, that they're going to turn this into a Netflix.
And season 2 of Desert Nights is supposed to be all about this case.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at that. Nicole, her daughter turns 18 tomorrow. She said, I'm nervous and excited. Well, I'm nervous and excited for you too, girlfriend. Let's take a second and tell Nicole's daughter happy birthday tomorrow. All I know is they say that she did not drive any longer and that she can't walk very far without assistance.
Yeah.
That's all I know. And I totally agree with and support if you're going out to have, a painting class where you have your wine and you're making a nice painting with your friend, have a safe ride home. That's all I'm going to say.
You to the Today Show, which is no surprise. That's obviously where she works, into Hoda, which is one of her best friends, and is opening up about what she has gone through. And
Hoda is not one of Savannah's best friends. You can kiss my ass on that one. They are known to not be tight on that set. Hoda left and she came back when Savannah left because they asked her for her help. She obviously knows the routine. She knows the set. She understands the teleprompters. I mean, they can't just pull my ass up and say, hey, Brooks, can you fill in for Savannah for a couple of days? I'd be like, what? Sure. Okay. This is a lot of training, takes a lot of time to do this. They bring her back, and then suddenly all the other people that work at the Today Show said, oh, it's such a calmer feel with Savannah gone. No one was saying they were happy that Savannah's mom was missing. No one said that. They were just like, we can breathe a little better with Savannah not here. They made the same comment when she had her throat surgery. Do you want to comment on that, Christina?
The throat surgery, she had to make it about her on the show. They had to come and do a piece on her, recovering from the surgery after her surgery. The whole thing is just so weird. It's just so strange. And she seems to me that she wasn't very well really liked by her coworkers.
No.
I think what they're doing right now with all this coverage and their yellow flowers and their yellow ribbons, I think it's all a bunch of bullshit, really. They're just pacifying NBC.
Well, they are. And let's not forget the email that was put out by Page Six New York Times. I mean, some people call it fake news, but I mean, it's obviously an email where she was really upset that the Today Show ratings went up.
It went up like 24% or some crazy thing. It went up quite a bit.
When she was out getting her throat massaged. Also, wasn't sure if I was allowed to bring this up because it's someone's grandbaby. Don't want to talk about kids in here, but since I obviously have permission because I can see the chat going through, let's please say happy birthday to the Finster. You have no idea how happy this kid makes me. He helped the neighbor across the street do his homework one day over the phone. Cutest thing you've ever seen.
It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today.
And Meerkamp, I am not going to sing happy birthday to your dad's 12-year-old dog. You all have your own celebration. Okay, let's get on it.
it's just heart-wrenching, Nicole. I mean, to listen to this, she talks about waking up in the middle of the night thinking about her mom being taken. Listen to a little of what she said, Nicole.
We are in agony.
Yeah.
We are in agony. It is unbearable. Mm-hmm. And to think of what she went through. Mm-hmm. I wake up every night, in the middle of the night, every night. And in the darkness, I imagine her terror.
And there's Hoda going, imagine my terror talking to you, because you know me and you do not get along. Some people are saying that this was scripted.
I believe it, because Hoda's only response is, uh-huh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sounds like when I call Pat K, all I get is, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I know what you're talking about. I mean, Hoda keeps covering her mouth because she's just sitting there going, I know exactly what's going on. For some reason, I still think this might have something to do with not Savannah's fame, but her ratings, because she was very upset about them in January. Okay.
It really is just awful to think about, Nicole. All of us who have followed this case from the beginning, you think about the fact that she was just taken in the night, and now 53 days later, we still don't know where she is. We still don't know who took her. We still don't know the motive. And Savannah, NBC News is saying she's going to talk more. She's going to talk more about the investigation in the coming days as they release more of this interview, which it'll be interesting to see, you know. I don't know if she'll go down this path, but it'll be interesting to see what she thinks about how the investigation has been handled so far, Nicole.
Absolutely. So, Brian, you kind of just went through that list of all the things that we don't know at this point. We don't know where Nancy is. We don't know who took her, et cetera, et cetera. Is this still considered an active investigation, though?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's still, and I've been in touch with people every single day. I mean, there's a whole task force that's set up. There's people that their only job within the FBI and within the local sheriff's office is continuing to investigate this case. There's roughly 20 people working on it day and night. So there's a lot of boots on the ground still. I don't consider it a cold case just because I know they're still working new leads. And there's, you know, the DNA, by the way, it's now gone to 2 different labs where they continue to.
The DNA is so stupid. I'm not saying DNA is stupid. I'm saying, why would you not use the FBI crime lab? What is going on in Arizona that you let the sheriff FedEx a DNA sample to Florida and cost the taxpayers $200,000 as opposed to have the FBI take control of the DNA evidence, send it to any of their labs. I mean, hell, Quantico. And it costs taxpayers in Arizona nothing. It comes into our federal.
And they sent evidence to 2 labs. If I heard it, Enton heard it. He sent one set of DNA to Florida, and then he sent more evidence to a lab in Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
And Enton was on last night with that Maureen woman, and he was like absolutely clueless as to where the other DNA was sent. Like, you talked about it, you knew. How do you not know today? Like, you're sitting out in the Arizona sun all day long. You're only getting on TV at certain times. Do some research, pay attention, take notes.
I'm telling you. Well, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, Arizona has a huge number of missing people. I'm not going to put up and read it. Okay, Alaska has a lot of missing people, but they say it's because of the wilderness, harsh conditions, and environmental hazards. People go on a lot of those excursions up there, and then they can't find them. Arizona, high volumes of cases related to trafficking, cartels, dangerous terrain. And I'm going to go ahead and say there could be some shoddy police work going on.
To analyze it and try. There's the possibility of genetic genealogy, which is what cracked the Koberger case. So I don't think it's cold. It's still active. The bad news, though, is from what I'm told, you know, that there is no suspect. still. And, that's just got to be difficult. You see what Savannah's going through, living with that every single day.
Absolutely. All right. Brian Inton with the very latest on this ongoing search. Brian, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is it true? And I'm asking, is it true? I'm not spreading a rumor. So when I say, is it true? I'm asking if anyone knows. I've gotten in trouble for that before, but I've lived. Okay. I've lived through my worst day ever. Okay, I'm good. Is it true that News Daddy was suspicious of JLR and said he needed to be looked into? He found out about the whole Magnolia JLR thing and it got sent to Nerdy Addict. The timeline makes perfect sense to me.
I heard crazy things, and I heard that JLR is going back to Arizona. And one of the neighbors, well, he said some of the neighbors have offered to let them stay in their houses. But I think the whole reason that he was in Arizona as long as he was because of the whole thing with Magnolia. And maybe the stuff went down with Magnolia. This is just devil's advocate, just talking hypothetical. Nobody knows anything because everybody's a suspect and nobody's a suspect. But it could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, he's got a really, really crazy past. Really crazy.
He does. And I mean, we're friends, so we can agree to disagree and disagree to agree. Oh, no, I think he was down there flat out for the money. I mean, he was getting millions of views. Millions.
And he was making money hand over fist.
And I don't doubt for a minute that some of those people around there don't just absolutely love him and love his coverage. And they're like, you can have my house because we're going to Colorado for the month. The keys are in the car. I have seen people do this stuff for him before.
Yeah. And let's face it, he's not rude. He's very polite. He had somebody ask him if they could interview him, and where she was Australian and she was there from like Newsmax or something. Mm-hmm. And I was watching and she came right up to him and she asked him if she could interview him, and then he did a second interview with somebody else. They all seemed to like him. He didn't give anybody a hard time. I mean, here he is offering people food and water and, taking people here and there and giving people rides to go search. And I mean, I don't know.
He's a real Eagle Scout. And I can say I've known him for a long time. And he really is that way. That doesn't mean that he's not a different way when he's not around other people.
Yeah.
However, look at that. Member for 34 months. She said, I've said it from the start. It's a stunt or a distraction.
I totally think it's a distraction.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get to the two that will not back down, and they are not scared of Savannah Guthrie. That is Megan Kelly. That's got her own stuff going on, her own internet flame wars. Ashley Banfield, who even though they tried to shame her off the internet, she already said, I know what I was told. And everything I have said has added up. Everything I have said. When she said a car has been impounded, and it is it's Andy and Beard's car. She was right. We didn't know in the news cycle till the next day.
A bunch of things about this case that are bothering me and other people, and just get your quick takes. The fact that Sheriff Nanos would not accept the help of any search group. These storied, smart, organized, successful search groups that you and I have seen go into many missing person cases and do grid searches and really help, repeatedly said no to those groups and didn't organize his own civilian team to do a grid search, because with the volunteers that you get on a case like this, you have way more bodies than you have in a police department or an FBI. At every turn, he said no. What do you make of that?
I don't understand it. If I give him the benefit of the doubt, he doesn't want to compromise evidence that's out there. But if the evidence if a tree falls in the forest, and it's frustrating because groups like the Cajun Navy they're oftentimes made up of a lot of former law enforcement and people who have training like this, and they are.
They found little Ryan R.J. Davis in Oklahoma.
Now, was it the same Cajun Navy or it was a different branch or whatever?
You know what branch? It's not the ones that went to help Sebastian. Those people are frauds. Okay, those people show up with a BB gun and say we're going to walk around. No, I mean they have different branches. I mean that's for sure.
Okay.
They have some in Louisiana. They have some in Texas. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard for them to get to Tucson. Trust me.
Savvy enough to know if you see it, photograph it, call it in, don't touch it. And it is stressful because if we are looking for Nancy Guthrie, who may no longer be with us.
Okay, hold on. Carly said, I still think a theory could involve her coworkers. No one wants to talk about that, though. You mean Savannah's coworkers or Nancy's coworkers? If you're talking about Savannah's coworkers, I would have zero problem pinning this on Matt Lauer. Okay, I'll just say it. He always pissed me off. Or when she worked with Katie Couric, she used to really irritate me too. What are we talking about? Whose coworkers?
Then someone needs to be looking. The desert is very big. It would be helpful to be able to get closure in this case, maybe even some evidence, because anything that would be with her could provide clues, right? It could provide skin, hair, fibers from someone else's clothes. Lots of cases have been actually solved through someone else's fibers from their shirt, or a piece of tape, because tape is an amazing little grabber of DNA and skin cells and hair. Just ask the Long Island serial killing suspect. That's how he ended up behind bars, because of the tape and all the shit that got stuck to the tape from allegedly his home. So yeah, I feel like if we had people searching the desert, like maybe they could search Gilgo Beach, we might actually be able to find some resolution in this case.
Whether you think this was a thorough investigation of the crime scene in the initial days.
Ashley knows better than that. The New York State troopers are the ones that investigated Rex Harriman, or Harriman, however you say it. He's pleading guilty to 7 counts of killing sex workers. They investigated that. They're the ones that got the FBI to follow him and get the pizza box. You see, old Sheriff New News doesn't operate that way. He's not going to call people that can solve the crime. He wants it to fall in his lap so he gets the key to the city.
No, I don't think 24 hours is quite enough. Crime scene was released and the search was called off all on Monday. And this happened on Sunday. So February 1st is Sunday. February 2nd is Nanos's big news conference, his first one, where he says, we're calling off the search and we're going to treat this like a crime scene now, but released it to the family and the pizza delivery guy and the reporters who walked up and saw the evidence of blood on the front doorstep and whoever else showed up. I mean, everybody showed up. And so it's very frustrating to see the subsequent searches by the FBI and other CSI teams long after the fact. I mean, will it give them answers? I don't know. Did somebody step on the footprint that might have been the footprint of this monster? Probably.
Right.
Did anybody decide to take the front mat? Did anybody decide to take the actual bracket that the Nest Cam was on? No, not for a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And P.S., when you take something out of your mouth, like, I don't know, a bite light, your saliva is all over your little gloves that you thought you were protecting your fingers from so perfectly. And then you mess with that actual Nest Cam and your DNA gets all over the bracket. Well, the bracket was up for 2 weeks until finally the white tented day revealed that it had finally been gone. So no, I don't think it was processed appropriately. And what frustrates me about that, again, benefit of the doubt and grace here, when you don't know that you're dealing with a crime like this and you think it's just a missing person like General McCaslin, in New Mexico, you think maybe he's wandered off, or I know they don't think he has, but you don't treat it like a crime scene right away. But they had blood, and so it was. And it should
call in
have
homicide
down right
detectives.
away. Yes, in the first hour. Well, listen, not even in the first hours. My source said that those droplets that you're showing right now are mimicked inside. The same pattern that you're seeing there, straight up and down, except for that sort of aspiration looking one. Those same patterns are mimicked inside the house. And that when the patrolman arrived for the phone call from
Aspiration, and she just confirmed it, they're also mimicked inside the house, not meaning they're made up. Either she, because she has to stay propped up a certain way when she's sleeping, because she can cough blood. She's on a lot of blood thinners. But between her coughing, it will aspirate blood. I'm sorry to say things happen as we get older. Ange can explain it better. And her nose.
Can you go back to that spot where it says hi?
Yeah.
And let the other people see what I'm talking about?
Okay, tell me where.
No.
Okay, I'll catch it.
gloves that you thought you were protecting your fingers from so perfectly, and then you mess with that actual Nest Cam and your DNA gets all over the bracket. Well, the bracket was up for 2 weeks until finally the white tented day revealed that it had finally been gone. So no, I don't think it was processed appropriately. And what frustrates me about that, again, benefit of the doubt and grace here, when you don't know that you're dealing with a crime like this and you think it's just a missing person like General McCasland, in New Mexico, you think maybe he's wandered off, or I know they don't think he has, but you don't treat it like a crime scene right away. But they had blood, and so it was. And it should have
called in
been locked
homicide
down right
detectives.
away. Yes, in the first hour. Well, listen, not even in the first hours. My source said that those droplets that you're showing right now are mimicked inside. The same pattern that you're seeing there, straight up and down, except for that sort of aspiration looking one. Those same patterns are mimicked inside the house. And that when the patrolman arrived for the phone call from the family saying, we think our mom is missing and we need help, the patrolmen were told by some other officers who arrived, aspiration looking one. Those same patterns are mimicked inside the house. And that when the patrolman arrived for the that
I see it right now on my computer screen. So I got to go back a little bit to where you are on my phone.
Are mimicked inside. The same pattern that you're seeing.
You see it in the lower right?
Now, why would somebody write hi?
Do you see it? It's like on the lower right-hand side of the screen.
Seeing there, straight up and down, except for that sort of aspiration looking one. Those same patterns are mimicked inside the house. And that when the patrolman arrived for the phone call from the family saying, we think our mom is missing and we need help, the patrolmen were told by some other officers who arrived, get out. We have something much different on our hands than.
That is creepy as hell. Let me look at Facebook when you sent it to me, or send it to me again, and I'm going to put it on the screen so everyone can actually look at it, so I don't have to keep listening to Megan and Ashley.
Okay, I'll look at our messages.
Yeah, can you shoot that to me real quick?
Yeah.
Missing elderly woman. They saw, according to my sources, the back door wide open. They saw the blood in the house. Unfortunately, I can't tell you where. I wish I knew, but my source didn't have the knowledge of where exactly those blood drops inside the house were. But if I were a guessing man, it's likely in that front entrance area, because they were aware right away, according to my source, that back door's wide open, blood drops are here, blood drops go out the front. Get out, don't compromise the scene anymore. We need to bring homicide in. And that all happened within minutes, as my source told me.
I mean, walk us through what you think that means, because it seems pretty clear that this guy did not get in through the front door. It had that gate on it that made it virtually impenetrable, according to virtually everybody. There was actually a soundbite from the neighbor, that same woman, Laura, with Brian Enton. And here's what she had to say about that gate. But we've had law enforcement experts on here talking about that gate. I want to get one of those gates, but they say you basically, if you have that on your front door, no one's getting through. Here it is in SOT 12.
And I don't like to speculate. And I always also assumed it was two people. because of the person who was at the front door. And he was standing there, and I don't think he was the main person. I think he was the guy outside who was waiting for them to come out. Because if you have a gate like that, a security gate on the front door, you're not getting into that. You're never going to break into that security gate. I mean, I actually talked to a security guy about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he confirmed you're not breaking into those gates. So I think, and she has glass on both sides of the door, and I think he was trying to see in. So when he was standing there, he wasn't trying to figure out what to do. He was trying to look in to see what was going on. And also, because you have a security gate, the door, the wooden door, if that's open, it's hard to see inside if it's dark, because I have one of those. You can't really see if the door is open or not. So I think he was standing there waiting for someone to come out.
Very interesting theory. Would dovetail as well with the speculation that possibly that item we see in the perpetrator's pocket is a walkie-talkie. We don't know. Could be a police scanner, could be something else entirely. But if there was a second person, would work. And with your theory would work, because it does seem clear that the perpetrator actually gained access to the house through the back door. At least that seems clear to me, because clearly they had Nancy. We know that's her blood on the front porch when they went out the front door. So when they had Nancy, she exited through that front door. And I accept that he was not able to get into that front door on his own. So is that what we think, Ashley? He came in through the back door? You said you saw signs of force, not you, but your source said there were signs of forced entry. So that's how they got in. And then they brought Nancy out the front and presumably into a car.
Correct. I mean, that's what the source said. In my opinion, based on the knowledge of this back door.
Okay, there's a new poll up. I thought Chris McDonough was crazy in the beginning because he said that there's other cases like this, not exactly like this, where an older person will go missing because, perverts don't just stick to kids, and I prefer them not stick to anything, to be quite honest. Where there is such a thing as elder sexual abuse. I know it could be out of the realm of possibility. That could also be part of the droplets. Let's face it, she hasn't had anything like that go on with her in a long time. Ashley calls it aspiration. It looks like droplets to me. He could be on to something.
For being wide open, blood being inside, blood being outside in the same pattern. It kind of looks as though they were in the house and came out through that front area, that front door. And yeah, you're not getting in through one of those, security doors. But I don't see why it's like so tricky here. Like if you see other crimes where people have been taken, it isn't difficult to see how blood can be dripped, right? I think about the Nancy Woodrum case. I did a podcast episode on Nancy Woodrum's case in Paso Robles, California. And the perpetrator in that case was a rapist. And people got really angry when I said elderly, but she was, I think, 62 or 64, I can't remember. But on the older side and vulnerable, living alone. And he broke in and took her out the door, up over his shoulder. And there was blood in that case as well. And I disagree with Laura in the fact that I do believe this person worked alone, especially with that particular theory. People don't typically work with partners when they do that. But I asked the sheriff who ran, or the lead investigator who ran the Nancy Woodrum case, well, how hard is it if, God forbid, Nancy Guthrie were dead, to take her out over your shoulder, one person, 150 pounds of dead weight is extraordinarily difficult. And he said, oh, no, it's not. Absolutely not. Not only did that perpetrator take her out of her home, he also took her 100 yards off of the road, 50 yards of which was over his shoulder, and the last 50 yards of which he dragged her. So it's entirely possible for one. And that guy was only, I think, 5'8", he said. He was a smaller guy. So it's not difficult to do that. And it's, I mean, the case, the most bizarre case, look it up. It just.
And Susan is right. Hey, Tina King. How many legacy media have covered the Epstein files, and how many were threatened not to? If you've gone to DOJ.gov/Epstein, you can see all the very, very many emails between JE himself and other people saying TMZ is our friend. They will keep all this quiet. And who was the first one on the scene that broke this? TMZ. Are you there, Mama B?
Yeah, I'm trying to send this to you right now.
Okay.
Did you get it? Can you open it?
Yeah.
All right. It's in the lower right corner on the second block in. You're going to have to zoom in on it.
I can't get into that because I'm not in that group.
Oh, let me try and take a. Oh, I can't take a picture of it.
That's okay.
It mirrors Nancy Guthrie's case so frighteningly, like to a T, even to the detail of who
Did they
found.
catch they caught the perpetrator in that case?
Yes, they did. And in the Nancy Guthrie case, I wish, well, listen, I don't know what they're doing specifically, what the FBI is doing specifically to run down leads. But in the case of Nancy Woodrum, it took them 7 months. I mean, listen, we're at what, 2.5 or 1.5,
6 weeks.
Yeah. And it took them 7 months, but they ran down every single person. There were a lot of people on the property that night. She had rented out her main house to a wedding. So they had to go through all the wedding guests, and they did that. And everybody seemed a little suspicious. Like there were all sorts of hinky things that went on. But and her own son was a suspect as well and behaved bizarrely, refused to give his DNA, refused to help them find his missing mother. So yeah, suspect. But then they had male DNA inside Nancy Woodrum's bedroom. And everybody that they had looked at, ended up being X'd out because of that. But ultimately, Megan, what they did was they went through every single contractor who'd ever been there. They also geofenced and found his phone. I think since then, criminals are a little bit more savvy about not having their phones with them, not just turned off, but not having them with them.
Unfortunately.
And yeah, sadly. Well, we'll find another tool. But they got this guy and he was clean as a whistle, right? That's why nothing happened in CODIS. He didn't have any criminal background that he'd been caught for. And he was married with a kid and he was in his 40s. And Nancy Woodrum had been nice to him. He was a painter and she'd been nice to him. She gave him tamales. Like she'd made some tamales and gave them to him and said, "Oh, these are mine. I'm sure they're not as good as your mother's." And he, for some reason, took that as flirting. So he came back, the next night after the tamales and left his wife. Apparently he stepped out on her a lot, left his wife and child at home, did this horrifying thing. But Megan, he stopped at a church on the way. He stopped at a fucking church and prayed, I guess, for 20 minutes or so, and then continued on his murderous, horrifying, rapey rampage. And that was his mission. He went in to rape Nancy Woodrum and he killed her. And then he took her out over his shoulder, out through the door, into the vehicle, drove 60 miles. That's another weird one. Drove 60 miles to a place where he dragged her, like I said, off the road 100 yards into the desert. But when they caught him, Megan, this is the weird part. You don't usually get.
Well, 60 miles is about the mileage from Main Street, Tucson to the Mexican border. True story.
And where they pulled that guy over.
And where they pulled him over. So obviously they are looking at this. I've been to Nogales before, Arizona. I've been there. I mean, you are right there. I mean, you see the border. You see it. And as you're leaving whatever area, it'll tell you exactly how many miles till you get to the Mexican border. So when she's bringing this up, 60 miles away, I'm like, woo, I've been saying this. But people are like, I don't want to hear anyone go, racist. You're being racist. You're being racist. No, I don't care if you're 60 miles away from Arkansas. I'm going to say, Have you thought they could have crossed state lines?
I sent you that picture.
I'm going to put it up in a second.
Oh, okay.
It's in our business. He sung like a canary. He told them everything. Like it was the most bizarre thing. Yeah. They got him in an interrogation room. And they said, we've got your phone in Nancy's room. And he tried to give them some crap story about, well, I went to get a ladder and I accidentally hit her with my car. And they're like, try again. Mm-hmm. And then he just.
Well, look at that. I didn't know Junebug 21 was on a road trip. I just talked to her this morning about baby clothes on Amazon. I'm going to start calling her La Bamba. She said she's almost in Mexico. She's driving right now. My goodness, Jules. Look at you. Investigator, turn on the camera.
Just opened the floodgates and he took them to the body. And the investigator told me, had he not taken the police to the body, they never would have found her. And when they did find her, they barely could find her. The activity in the desert, the animal activity, had done its work in 7 months, and it would have been next to impossible to find her.
Wow, that's dark, but you're right. It's absolutely possible. Think about this.
Okay, let me put this picture up and see if you guys can see it. I can see it. Some people can't. Okay, I'll do it like this. And I've got to take the chat off so everyone can see. Okay, let me see if I can scroll in some more. I can see it. I don't know if you all can, but it's obviously someone's shoe, and you're getting an H and an I out of it. I mean, I'm not saying it. The name of the shoe is high. What do you think it means?
It looks to me, because the bottom part is like crooked from the top part, it's down and to the right.
Mm-hmm.
The way the patterns don't match up, like in a line.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the same rigid edge, like the zigzag edge. It just looks like the word high to me, like somebody being sarcastic, like ha, you know.
Oh, I totally see the pattern. I get it. I totally understand it.
I think that she was probably in a tarp or some kind of something to get her out of that house, and she was low to the ground.
Mirror Sherry said, big error. DNA should go to Quantico, in my opinion. It doesn't cost the state a dime to do that. So why did he go to labs in other states and not send the DNA there? Van Plaid, I'm going to call her Van Denham today. Van Denham. She made a really good point. When this guy's taking out the bite light, he's got saliva and everything. You know, he's trying to breathe through that mask. He's trying to breathe through his mouth as he's holding the bite light. Don't tell me when that thing came off, it wasn't a slobbery mess.
Or he could have drooled.
Yeah, I would. Goodness. Not to get you ladies excited, but when you're holding something in your mouth that long, I mean, you got a lot of saliva going on. And when you take it out, I mean, you're going to have even more. Ever had a Tootsie Pop? All right, so now we're going to get to Savannah speaking out.
Day was, I guess, a normal weekend for you.
Yeah.
The weekend your mom went missing. Tell me what you were doing and what happened.
Well, I had given Mike for Christmas a boys' trip to go play tennis, and so he had been gone for the week.
Johnny sees an R and not an H in that shoe print. Are you there, Mama B?
What's that?
Sorry, you have a lot of background noise. Did I lose you?
No, it's my furnace.
Oh,
It sounds like a friggin' airplane.
no, it's okay. Don't worry about that. I just thought maybe I lost you. No, don't worry about
No.
it. No, Johnny sees an R and not an H.
Maybe. What was the guy's name that texted and called the family? I don't remember his name.
I don't know anything about a text.
He texted Annie and Tommaso, and then there was a 9-second phone call to a member of the family. The guy that they arrested, he was from LA or something.
Is that the one that put the first Bitcoin thing in? That guy's in jail. Or the guy that was driving, that's the delivery driver in her neighborhood. I don't know who called him.
No, the Bitcoin guy.
Oh, Derek.
Oh, Derek, so it wouldn't be an R then. Huh?
Weekend.
Huh.
So I took my kids actually to Carson's. So we had a beautiful, fun night together. And then I came home, and really it just got home at the same time that Mike came home. And we were just saying hi, putting down our stuff, and the kids were running around. And my sister called me, and I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." She said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone." And she was in a panic. I was in a panic. I'm like, "Call 911."
Yeah.
She's like, "I did. We've called them. They're here." And we thought that she must have had like some kind of medical episode in the night, and that somehow, the paramedics had come because the back doors were propped open,
Okay. The back doors were propped open.
And Ashley Banfield said that right in the beginning.
And I'm telling you right now, you're exactly right. And the sheriff would not confirm that. He would not say a word about it. Matter of fact, try to make her look like a liar. There's her ex-friend Savannah saying we thought she had a medical emergency because the back doors were propped open. That would be your first common sense thing. She has a lot of medical maintenance going on.
But why did Annie wait until nighttime to call her?
And that's something I believe Banfield's going to dig in on more.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about that.
Spill it. Let you know.
There's a lot. As soon as I saw Annie and Tommaso, they were originally my first thought. And I'm not pointing fingers. I have a lot of theories and speculation, just like everybody else. But when it comes to Annie and Tommaso, they've searched their house multiple times. They've searched the neighborhood 3 and 4 times. They took their car and had it for 41 or 42 days. Now, Chris McDonough, he called the sheriff's department, and the PIO officer told him that they no longer had the car. They were in the process of getting it back, and it had been towed. And he called around, and he got a hold of a company, and they said that it was confidential. And he said, well, they just gave themselves away. And then last night, I believe it was, he said, it was Wayland Chevrolet or something that they had brought the car to. He says, we didn't say that, but we knew that. And that's where it was. And they went in at night and luminoled their house. And they were the last ones to see her.
Are you
Luke got his car back very quickly. And they had their car, they had Annie and Tomaso's car for like 42 days. Now,
Every
how could they clear?
It's their car right back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he made a lot of good points when it comes to Annie and Tommaso and the searching.
But I mean, she is livid that anybody would point at her family talking about Savannah. And
Yep.
she must have the strings to pull to make sure that nothing happens to her brother-in-law, because it could tank her career. It could tank her career, even though people go, oh, no, I would still watch the Today Show. I would still love her. I would still this. No, you'd go to Good Morning America. Because you're like, no, are you kidding me?
It's so crazy.
And that didn't make any sense. We thought maybe
Because a trial against her brother-in-law would, I mean, it wouldn't be, I'm telling you what, people wouldn't stop watching Today's Show with Savannah because her brother-in-law did something. No, it doesn't work that way. But like Jennifer Hudson, and she has a gorgeous voice, when the trial went on, it turned a bunch of people off against her because they're hearing family secrets that took away from the fixture they had in their mind about Jennifer Hudson. And it's happened to other celebrities too. We know Savannah can't take that. She was ass hurt when their ratings went up when she was not on the show.
they came and there was a stretcher and they took her out the back. But her phone was there and her purse was there and all her things. And it just didn't make any sense. So, you know, Annie and Tommy had already called all the hospitals, but then I'm like, I'm going to call the hospital. So then I started calling the hospitals and the police were there and talking to her at the same time. And it was just chaos. And
of course it was chaos. Megan Els said, the discovery alone. Don't think they wouldn't call Savannah to the stand. Okay? Don't think they wouldn't call her to the stand. If it's true that everything points at the brother-in-law or her brother-in-law and sister, I'm telling you, she has the strings to pull to make sure nothing happens to them. And now they're saying that the camera footage from inside the house is too disturbing to release to the public. What in the hell does that even mean?
Especially when Nano says there was no cameras in the house.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
And how did they miss a camera on the guest house? And when those two women went up on that roof, they weren't just looking for a camera, because the one agent, she got down on her hands and knees and she was looking under those tubes, those pipes. She was looking for something under those pipes. She had a flashlight out and she was looking.
I agree.
Disbelief.
Within hours, Savannah was making the long journey home to Tucson. You saw Annie and Cam when you got to their house. Tell me about that moment.
Just disbelief and hugging each other. And I think we were on the phone with the sheriff and trying to, you know, really make clear from the very early moments, you know, Annie and Tommy were saying this isn't that case that you are used to where someone wanders off. She can't wander off. Mm-hmm. My mom, she was in tremendous pain. Yeah. Her back was very bad. You know, she was trying to.
Hope I didn't lose you guys yet, but what she's saying right there is spitting her facts. She's in tremendous pain. She can't walk far. I mean, she gets winded. So then Nano says he acts like the no driving's not a big deal. Oh no. she can walk half a football field if she wanted to. That is not what her daughter is saying. She did not have someone in the guest house to help her get to the bathroom, make her sandwiches, get her off the couch to exercise, and get her remote and get her TV and everything set up for her. He's got some nerve sitting there saying that this lady, Nancy Guthrie, can walk half a football field. Now I want to know why old boy, Beard, just let her walk in there by herself. Did he come back to check on her and realize that she didn't make it in and left the back door open and thought, I better do something about this? Because Annie will tell me, you better have walked her in and made sure she got to bed. But we know the garage door opened, and then he's probably wanting to get the hell back home. And he's like, I'm not going to watch her cripple around the house for the next hour. And then the garage door went down. Why would you not walk her in? I'm hearing everything Savannah's saying. She has a very hard time walking. What do you think, Mama B?
I don't know why anybody would let an 84-year-old woman walk themselves inside anyway, regardless of her situation. Especially, she can't walk to the mailbox, but you're going to let her walk into the house alone, and you're not going to escort her in and make sure everything's okay. Make sure there's nobody in the house. I mean, she is a defenseless 84-year-old woman coming home in the dark at 10 o'clock at night. And I don't know about you, but I don't know very many 84-year-old women that are up that time of night.
That's one of the strangest things I've ever heard. And that's the reason I think that there is a solid discussion going on. Because it's been said, like, they get together like once a week. And normally they might play a quick game of checkers. They get something to eat. She can only eat so much. She gets something going on. Like if she eats too much, she gets sick. Then they pack something up for her. She takes it back home. And I mean, it's normally like early evening, like 4:30. But this started at 6. And didn't end until 9:47 is when she got home. And now she's
at 6 o'clock at night. My 74-year-old mother-in-law, she's upstairs in her bed watching TV, getting ready to go to bed. You can't call her after 8 o'clock because she's sleeping.
At 6 o'clock at night, I'm in bed watching TV. So, damn, what's going to happen when I'm 74? I better speed it up. But, I have been really wearing myself out lately, Christina. I've been doing a lot of farming.
Yeah.
I even bought a whole new outfit for me to farm in. Because when the weather's nice outside and you're farming, there's always neighbors out and stuff like that. So I've got a really, really cute, like big, bright, hot pink hat and stuff like that, little overalls. I just need to get a shirt that says farmer on it. Ann just been giving me hell about it. She's like, but I thought you were going to mow. And I'm like, yeah, I go outside and do like 2 strips to see what the neighbors are doing. Give me a break.
Is your rooster out yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Loud and proud. I just got knocked over in this wind. We're having huge gusts right now.
My husband won't let me get the rooster from Tractor Supply.
Send me your address. I guarantee there might be the one that shows up.
He's like, we are not getting that for the front yard. I said, so put it out back by my pool. I get a win-win. You don't have to see it out front, and I can see it out back.
Dane, would you like to grab the link? Dane knows where Nancy Guthrie is. Dane, if you want to grab the link, this would be a very important conversation besides roosters at Tractor Supply and Ange not respecting my farming work.
On a good day, she could walk down to the mailbox and get the mail, but most days not. So there was no wander off. And the doors were propped open.
Yeah.
And there was blood on the front doorstep. And the Ring camera had been yanked off.
Yeah.
And so we were saying, this is...
Do something.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
This isn't... Something is very wrong here.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about what possibly could have happened? Like,
Dane Cornhole, can you please grab the link and come up and tell us where Nancy Guthrie is? Dane Cornhole.
what could have happened? What went down? Did you?
I think my brother, I mean, my siblings are so amazing. My brother, you know, he spent his career in the military and worked in intelligence and is a fighter pilot and is brilliant. And he saw very clearly right away what this was.
Yeah.
And even on the phone, when I called him, he knew.
He knew.
And he said, I think she's been kidnapped for ransom. And I said,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Well, why? What? And then, I mean, it sounds so like, how dumb could I be? But I didn't want to believe. I just said, do you think because of me? And he said, I'm sorry, sweetie, but yeah, maybe.
I don't like that she's playing the Rebecca Schaefer game with her mom. Okay, don't make it about you. Please keep the focus on your mom. I'm not trying to be crass. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be unsympathetic. I can clearly see the woman is very upset. I'm just saying this part probably should have been brought in. And I can understand asking an authority something like that.
Can I just say something about the cameras too?
Yes, go ahead. Switch gears.
They didn't have subscriptions for the Nest cameras. But all of a sudden, Nancy disappears and they've got Simply Safe all over the house. You wouldn't pay for her Nest camera setup, make sure her subscription was active, but you're going to pay for Simply Safe on an empty house to guard it from intruders.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense to me.
But who made that decision? Because, you know, I'm going to go ahead and beat it into the ground. I'm going to go ahead and say, Beard, he's her power of attorney.
I thought him and Annie had reciprocal power of attorneys.
I only heard him. That's what I read in the New York Post. I just know about him. And that her house was for sale, Nancy's. And then it went off the market.
Yeah.
And then there were several loans taken out against the house.
Yeah, I heard it was refinanced 3 times.
Right. So who made the camera decision? Please tell me it wasn't the lady that can't even walk to the mailbox.
I mean, if that was my mother and she was 84 years old living alone, I would just make sure that the subscription was paid and that would be it. There wouldn't be any discussion about it, especially if I was a multi-millionaire. What's a Nest camera subscription? $20 a month? $10 a month?
But who told her? Who told her in advance that we turned off the cameras and we're going to get one of those fake cameras that you can buy at the Dollar Tree? You put batteries in it, it moves back and forth like they have at Mexican restaurants behind the cash register. Who told her this was going on?
I don't know. You would think that she would just have a security system in place with all the money that she's got.
Oh, I'm not talking about her money. I just want to know who told her they switched the cameras. It seems to me she's new to this.
Yeah.
Like, again, I think someone's covering for someone in the family. Yeah. These decisions were made and she didn't know. She doesn't need her mom's house. She doesn't need to borrow against her mom's house. She doesn't need to have dinner with her and ask for bucos of money. Big bucks.
For a down payment for a house.
Yeah.
Because you're broke.
She's not upside down in her rent. They keep her out of everything. Hence why he's the power of attorney. But they have to keep this covered up because when all the family secrets spill at trial, it's something her career can't handle.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
But I knew that.
You did.
I hope not. I mean, we still don't know. Honestly, we don't know anything.
No.
We don't know anything. So I don't know that it's because she's my mom and somebody thought, oh, that girl, that lady has money. We can make a quick buck. I mean, that would make sense, but we don't know. But yeah, that's probably, which is too much to bear. To think that I brought this to her bedside, that it's because of me. And I just say, I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm so sorry.
Okay, this is a lot to take in, whether you like her or don't. My question is, I mean, she said in that last clip, you know, they know this girl has some money, talking about her. So why didn't you just pay him?
Yeah. And if you lose $6 million, you lose $6 million.
Because, I mean, we know what you're worth. And it's heartbreaking. And this is, I don't see how this helps the investigation. She's basically, I mean, whoever has Nancy Guthrie is going to see this. And they're going to see, yeah, she's never going to pay me. She's never going to pay me.
But, you know, why say we will pay if you're not going to pay?
Miss K 9053, all the above, baby. She had a pension. She had she was getting that from her husband. She has life insurance on herself, which goes to her children. And then she has separate policies that go to her grandchildren. And she has something called mortgage insurance that paid for the refinancing done by Beard and Annie. They were supposed to be making that refinance payment on. All the above. She's got lots of insurance. Every time a postcard comes in the mail, she'd fill it out.
I'm sorry to my sister and my brother and my kids and my nephew and Tommy and my brother-in-law. I'm like so sorry. I'm so sorry. If it is me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
In the initial days, you and your sister and brother sat together. In all the despair, you sat and managed to think of words to say. How were you able to do that in that moment?
Well, my siblings are amazing. And we are a unit. And I talked about how brilliant my brother is, but my sister is equally brilliant and also has special powers of intuition and faith and language and depth and heart. And I feel like we came together with all these beautiful gifts that came from our mom and dad and from God. And somehow together we did our best to come up with the words to say. And I haven't posted one thing or said one thing that the three of us haven't decided together. It is surreal. How is it possible that we are having to make a video speaking to a kidnapper who took an 84-year-old woman in the dead of night in her pajamas with no shoes, without her medicine. This little person. And to beg.
That breaks my heart because I didn't even realize Nancy Guthrie's stature. See, she has really bad osteoporosis. She's in a lot of pain because she slumps over. She's a tiny little thing. I mean, she's a tiny little thing. And so I don't even know what to say about that. Janaka said, I think she knows what happened and covering for a family member. Yeah, she doesn't think her career could probably go through a trial with all kinds of family drama coming out. In my opinion, it would flourish because we all have those family members. That is one thing besides toilet paper we all have in common. We all have one of those family members. Know what I mean? I guarantee you've got one, Mama B.
Oh, you have no idea. I've got 2 of them.
I think it wouldn't hurt her, but it's happened to other people. Who knows?
I think people would be more sympathetic towards her.
I would think so too, but I don't know what her handlers, her agents, her manager, her attorneys, and everyone else is saying to her.
I don't know.
These entertainers, and yes, she is an entertainer. Don't think she's a real fucking journalist, okay? She's not sitting there with some typewriter and walking around the streets trying to get an interview. No, she's not like that. They don't get to think for themselves. I mean, even this, she was told it was okay. They don't. They actually dumb themselves way down because they can't do anything without an okay from all the people running their career. Someone told her no.
For mercy.
In the days that followed, multiple notes demanding payment were sent to various media outlets. The ransom notes or ransom requests came. Did you believe those to be real?
There are a lot of different notes, I think, that came. And I think most of them, it's my understanding, are not real. And I didn't see them. But, a person that would send a fake ransom note really has to look deeply at themselves.
Yeah.
To a family in pain. But I believe the 2 notes that we received, that we responded to, I tend to believe those are real.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When the Ring camera video surfaced.
I wouldn't be surprised if Annie and Tomaso Beard don't put their house on the market and it will sell real quick. I'm telling you, real quick. They can sell it for a lot more than $650,000 now. Okay? It'll sell real quick. I would not be surprised if Savannah doesn't tell them, go ahead and take Mom's house, and they move in there. And then somehow all that refinancing just gets paid off real quick.
If they have Nancy declared as deceased, the mortgage insurance will pay off the rest of the mortgage and they won't have a mortgage payment anymore.
That's exactly right. It instantly goes away. It gets paid. Didn't want to say it that way, but that's the New Yorker in you. So far, what do you guys think about the show? Go ahead and give a round of applause for your old buddy Brooks And your co-hostess with the mostest for today, Mama B. That could be the scam for Annie and Beard. And remember, Savannah doesn't want all this getting out. She's not her own person. She's an entertainer. She's a celebrity. She has an agent. She has a publicist. She has a PR person.
And you could see who that person was. Just tell me what you thought when you saw those images of the person who took your mother.
I mean, it's just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just totally terrifying. And I can't imagine that is who she saw standing over her bed.
Yeah.
I can't. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad and grateful to the investigators and the technology companies that were able to find that video. To, I hope, at least with people of good heart and compassion, stop the irresponsible and cruel speculation that had started to swirl.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
I'm glad that people saw
Yeah.
what came to our door.
Yeah. When you talk about the cruel speculation, the whispers, the innuendo that it was somebody in your family, how did you weather that?
It's unbearable.
Yeah.
And it piles pain upon pain. There are no words. There are no words. I don't understand. I'll never understand. And no one took better care of my mom than my sister and brother-in-law.
Oh boy, she's going to keep covering up for them. Nobody took better care of them than my sister and brother-in-law. Hey, you guys, I wasn't shutting the show down. I said, are you guys still having fun? How about a round of applause for me and Mama B? I didn't say the show was done. I'm sorry. Hey, Val, what's up? No one took. Now, here's the whole thing. We have a fragment sentence, okay? You know, they came after me because I have all this money, but I wasn't going to pay the ransom. But nobody took better care of them than Annie and Beard.
And all of a sudden, Annie and Beard want to speak.
Good. Let them.
Did you see the video of Tommaso playing in his band?
Mm-hmm.
The porch video, the guy wears his pants the same way. The same way. And the beard coming out of the side of the mouth, it struck me as Tommaso's build. It does.
It
I
looked to
could
me,
be totally wrong, but it does.
it looked to me like one of these bandmates. I posted something about that in the Facebook group. It looked to me like one of these bandmates. But
It could be. But also, I was thinking that the guy that they arrested for the 2 text messages and the 9-second phone call, he's also in a band. And he has played at the same venue as Tommaso. What if they had something going and they made some plan and Tommaso offered him some money to, help him?
well, you know, we did a show yesterday about Michael Peterson, and he led a double life. You know, yes, he's a novelist. Yes, he was married. Yes, had children. But his double life was he was into dudes. And he spent a lot of money taking care of his side pieces.
Yeah. And I know it's extremely hard to take care of a family member. Me and John, we took care of my grandparents. I was doing his dialysis for him, my grandfather, every other day at his house. And, you know, we would get phone calls at like 2 o'clock in the morning, come fix my TV. Oh, your grandfather needs to go to the hospital. I need help. You got to call 911. You've got to come cook my dinner. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to go to the bank. You know, that kind of stuff happens when people get older. And you get frustrated and you get tired.
And that's what shocked me when they brought up all the Uber trips she takes.
But she can't walk anywhere. So what the hell's the sense of taking an Uber somewhere?
That's what I was wondering. She had like 28 trips in January, and there's 31 days in January. Unless 28 trips were just to go see a girlfriend, you know, see one of her friends.
Well, we know one trip was to church, you know, the church meeting there with her girlfriend. And I'm sure that pissed Annie right off, because instead of going to a local church or streaming a local church right from home, she's streaming Savannah's church.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Savannah very clearly is the golden child.
Oh, for sure. And I think it was page 6 again, might have been People magazine. They all copy off each other, so I don't know who I'm giving credit to. Even said that once she saw Savannah, the back of Savannah's head and her grandkids in church, then her and her girlfriend turned it off or just left it in the background and went and did something else.
Yeah.
So she watched every Sunday to see Savannah, her husband, and her grandkids file in.
Crazy stuff.
And no one protected my mom more than my brother. And we love her, and she is our shining light. She's our matriarch. She's all we have.
Savannah and her family stayed together in Arizona for weeks as the media coverage grew more intense.
We had to move houses many times because people came, and not everyone is respectful, unfortunately. You know, there was a night we had to leave in the dark in the desert, holding hands, me and my sister and brother and I, get into a car waiting for us because the people outside were closing in. So we found a place that was safe, and then we couldn't really leave too much. So like those days are a blur.
Yeah.
Crying and praying.
How did your family feel about the way the investigation was conducted?
Well, it's still going.
Yeah.
And people have worked tirelessly. And we see that. But we need answers. We cannot be at peace without knowing. And someone can do the right thing. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And our hearts are focused on that.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So in that clip, she said the back door was definitely propped open. They thought that she'd had a medical emergency, started calling around. She focuses more on her brother-in-law and her sister than she does on her mom. Am I the only one thinking that?
I think she's got a gut feeling, just like most people. And you know, people are like, oh, they've cleared the family, they've done this, they've done that, everybody's cleared. The police can tell you anything they want.
Yeah, they can say we never even suspected that person. Move along.
I
That
mean,
ain't shit. There is no document saying you're cleared. You're
they
cleared.
don't keep your car, the daughter's car, for 41 or 42 days and keep a stranger's car for 2 days. They just don't do that.
No. And they also still have Nancy's car. So, I mean, what the hell? I mean, there is no document saying you're cleared, because if they find more evidence later, then you're not cleared. Okay?
And the warrants for the guy in Rio Rico and that Luke guy, they're still sealed. They have no idea why they were searched.
Well, I would like to know too.
I want to know what they took out of the back of that car of Luke's with the tarps pulled up so public couldn't see.
I would like to know too. I mean, there's got to be a pink sheet somewhere. I mean, those things aren't public. We're not allowed to see what evidence they took, but you know. Val said, nah, I'm thinking the people responsible are right under the nose of everyone. Amber said, no, Brooks, I'm with you. I believe this is being told because she's trying to get a point across to them. I really do. So either she is saying this to try to get Annie and her brother-in-law to say what they know, or she's trying to get the heat off of them because the heat is still there.
Mama always in the present tense.
Yeah. I mean, she is present tense to me.
Do you feel her, or have you heard her any moments?
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell me about your mommy. Just tell me about her.
My mom she's incredible. She's resolute and strong. Quiet strength, quiet faith, but hard fought. She's funny and a little mischievous, I would say, in her humor. She's a noble creature. She does what's right. She walks in faith, but not a fake, pious, put on faith, but like a grounded, earthy, she fought for it faith.
When you posted Please Pray in the beginning, the ocean of love and prayers, did you feel that? Did you sense what was happening?
I do feel prayers, you know, I do. I believe that. I think she would have been just amazed, just truly amazed.
One of the images that stayed with me through all of this was you and Annie and Tommaso walking up and looking at the flowers and at the notes. As I saw that, I thought, oh, I wonder if Savannah's going inside, and what that must have felt like for you to go inside of your mom's, your childhood home, your mom's house.
Yeah, I mean, this is the house that we grew up in. It's really the only house I've ever known and remember. So we moved there when I was about 4, I think. It's the house where I came home on a Friday night at 16, and my mom and sister were on the couch praying and told me that my father had died. It's the house where all of our memories are, good and bad. So it's hallowed ground. My mom loved and treasured that house. In good years and lean years, they were able to hold on to that house.
Okay, well, last year wasn't a lean year, so why did she put it on the market? And I'm talking for the Guthrie family. I don't mean for her mother. I don't mean when Savannah was growing up. So she said in good years and lean years, she treasured that house. Do you think the meeting could have been about her telling Beard and Annie, listen, you need to make these payments. That money was for you.
Could have been. Could have been. I think there's been some tension between them for sure.
Oh,
I would give them like $350,000 to put down on their house.
Do what? Say that again. You cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't she give them like $350,000 to put down on their house?
That I do not know. I never heard that. But I mean, you know, Savannah comes home at 16 years old. Now, I don't know where she had been, but I guarantee there was a phone or something. I'm not saying she had a cell phone or a pager. And she gets home and there's her mom and sister together. So, I mean, yeah, her mom obviously loves children. She likes to brag on her children, but there's always that underdog in families that one sticks closer to your hip. You know, the golden child could be the one that's just doing the best, but the one that you take care of all the time is the underdog. I mean, I can tell you in my husband's family, his older brother did great. My husband, always self-sufficient, does great. The younger brother, my brother-in-law, oh hell no, he was right by my mother-in-law all the time. Money, 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 money. Down on my luck again, down on my luck again, down on my luck again. And she would always figure out a way to help it. Yeah. Always. And I see that with Annie and Thomas, or Tomas Beard.
That's my mom's safe haven. It was really hard to see that violated, and the terror that she must have felt is unbearable. It's unbearable.
Tell me, while you were spending all this time in Tucson, your kids were home, what do they know?
Well, it's so hard with kids because, you know, you want to protect them. Vale would write me all the time, Mama, any leads? Any leads? Do you hear anything? You know, any hope? And I think that, you know, we tried to talk to them and try to give them a little more certainty than we have, to let them grieve. And for my little nephew Olmo too, you know, there's just a way in which this is even so much harder on Annie and Tommy and Olmo because they're there.
Again, talking about the sister and brother-in-law. I'm telling you, Annie is the titty on the boar hog. Okay? She is the middle child, which normally in the personality range, the birth order doesn't work out that way. But she is the titty on the boar hog. And you can tell the brother doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He was there for a short while. Savannah is doing what you call damage control.
Wasn't the brother estranged from them after his retirement from the military?
For some reason, there was some sort of separation in the family for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, she talks way more about her sister and brother-in-law than anything. She's really trying to use PR to clear their name.
Yeah.
And they were there every day for my mom. They made it possible for her to stay and the house we grew up in that she loved so much. I think she always stayed in that house because I think she still felt my father there. All our memories. You know, let her have her space. And it's just a way in which this is just even more excruciating for them and all that they've been through.
I know it was a hard decision for you, and I know you told me about this, was coming back here, leaving Arizona to come back to New York. Why was that so difficult, that choice?
I looked out the window of the airplane and just thought, where are you?
Yeah.
That desert, that beautiful desert that she loves. Where are you?
Yeah.
How could I leave you? But my mom taught me a lot about grief. Our family knows grief. My father passed when I was 16 years old. He was only 49. It was a shock. And I remember my mom saying in those early days when Daddy died, like, you have to get up and decide and do. Just decide and do. And I'd read that in a book that meant a lot to her and her grief. And so I always remember that. So I'm trying to decide and do. Just get up and decide and do every day. You know, I've felt terrible grief, and I felt unfathomable love and comfort. The goodness and kindness of God is remarkable and in equal measure to my sorrow.
Well, I mean, there's mortgage life insurance on Nancy Guthrie's house since the fabulous brother-in-law and sister, I mean, had it refinanced so many times. So $10,000 wouldn't put a dent in that. Now, Nancy did have some things done to her pool, but it was basically maintenance. I mean, she didn't have it, dug down to China. I mean, it was basically maintenance. And people keep saying, oh, the refinancing was for the pool. And I'm like, no, dude, that pool was like put in the 60s. Okay, that pool's not going anywhere. And it has water in it year round. So I don't know what the conversation was about. I guarantee that no news knows. I guarantee the FBI knows. And I guarantee for whatever reason, someone's telling them to lay off and they're taking orders from someone.
She showed us how to survive the unimaginable. When she lost my dad, she was 46 years old. She had 3 kids. She had never worked outside the home. She had to get up. She had to find a job. She had to mother 2 teenagers and 1 young adult just starting making his way into the world. She took care of her mother, her brother, who had Down syndrome. She invited to come live with us. She worked part-time to make ends kind of meet. She found a way, another job, a job she turned into a full-time job, a job she turned into a career.
Okay, I'm not saying I believe everything I hear on the internet, but the truth is sometimes I do believe every word of it. Was her mother widowed? You better believe it. Was she working at dry cleaners, Walmarts, other grocery stores and things like that? No. She was left very well off by her husband at 46 years old. Very well off. He had a great annuity and he had a great pension, and she got his Social Security. Did she go back to work? She did. But this acting like she's in the damn coal mine or in the middle of the Tucson desert sifting for diamonds, no, that shit didn't happen.
And she's no Section 8 Barbie because, I mean, she had the money coming in. She was able to afford that house. You know, she had money coming in.
I mean, I get it. I mean, we see our parents struggle or we're struggling ourselves. I mean, we imagine ourselves like, woo. No, I mean, she had the money. She had the money coming in.
She had a second life of purpose and meaning. She had a million friends. She stayed strong for us. She was resolute. She was real. She grieved. I remember moments in my childhood and those days after my dad died. She was so strong. But some mornings before dawn, when she thought we were still sleeping, I would hear her crying at my door. To not be alone in her grief. So she taught me to be strong, but she taught me to be true. My faith is strong and resolute. But I, early on, felt and I heard for one of the very few times in my life, I did hear God speak to me.
Now, hold on there, Home Skillet. You heard God speak to you. Then why are you doing what your agent, manager, publicist, PR manager, executives of Today Show, and everyone else are telling you to do? Why don't you do what God tells you to do, which is tell the truth? Are you there, Mama B?
Yeah, I'm here.
The hell? If God spoke to me right now, y'all be toast. I'd be like, God spoke to me. So don't tell me what I can talk about. Turn myself into those spirit channels.
As I said to myself, I can handle anything, God. I can handle anything. I just can't handle not knowing. We can't handle not knowing.
Yeah.
I have to know. And I heard a voice. And it said, you do know where she is. She's with me. She's with me. So whether she is on this earth still, or whether she is in heaven, I know where she is. I know who she's with. But we need to know.
I mean, Savannah's faith has been on display over the years, but never quite like that.
I don't know if people realize that none of us have had much correspondence with her over this whole 54-day ordeal. So as we're watching this with the world, we're learning and unpacking so much about our dear friend. And it's hard to process here in live TV in the moment.
Not about you guys. Not about you guys. And I just want to know, since Nancy had 24-hour protection, she even had a pool alarm. And just in case she was outside, because she wants to go outside, if she wants to, get some air, there was a pool alarm that went straight to the authorities to get her out of the pool. She had one for in case she fell down. I mean, she had all the alarms. When was the decision made to not give her security? I don't know. I don't believe for a second it was from Savannah Guthrie. No way. I can only think of one family member that would do it. I don't know. What do you think, Mama B?
Oops, I forgot to make the payment.
Well, I mean,
I forgot to write the check.
she has her own money. No one's paying her bills. That's the thing. Nobody asks someone for money if they can't pay their own bills.
No. I mean, maybe Annie was taking care of her finances and writing the checks, and she just forgot to write the check that month, or forgot to make the online payment that month.
Oh, I got you.
Maybe they didn't do a yearly subscription. Maybe they paid for it month to month.
Yeah. So, but then you got Savannah going, nobody loved her or took care of her more than those two. And I'm just like, wow, okay. I don't know. So what do you think's going to happen with this?
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Not after what we're hearing this week. I mean, and I said it, plainly on
If
Facebook.
the FBI takes over completely, I think it'll go somewhere. But if it stays the way it is, it's not going anywhere.
Nope.
He's got too much pride, and he's too vengeful to let the FBI take over. He's got to, be the captain of the ship. He needs to feel in control. He wants the accolades and the pat on the back and the attaboy. And if he's not getting that, then he's not happy. So I don't see the FBI being asked to take over.
Nope. I mean, until they do that, I don't know. Obviously, they need another captain to run the ship. Can we all have a big round of applause for Mama B? Because this has been a great show. A lot to unpack and talk about. Lots of reminders of things we've heard before and things that have been reconfirmed. Mama B, you tell Haley that you are not as good as her on the channel.
She'll have my head.
The best happy birthday. She has the best correspondence. I'm telling you, out of the mouths of babes.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, you have a great TGIF. Watch this weather coming through. We have wildfires again in Oklahoma. Looks like it's extremely windy. Curious Country Girl said she's getting crazy rain where she is. I can hear thunder with nothing behind it because that can only mean one thing around here. Watch for those green skies. If you can't breathe very good in your house, crack a window. You might be having a barometric pressure problem like we get in Oklahoma. But I want you guys to have a great rest of your day. And thank you, Mama B. We go back a long time, and I am proud to know you, my friend.
Me too. I'm proud to know you.
I'm
Lucky girl.
Love you too. Love when we do shows together.
Okay.
We were on the run, rocking around the clock. Now all we need is right here in front of us. In front of us. So can we just slow